Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with Charlie. Y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on a West Side Rollin 60's neighborhood Crip rapper from Tampa that just got booked on 2 bodies after 2 men were killed inside of a recording studio. November 19th, 2020. Hillsborough County Sheriffs responded to 15104 North 23rd Street in Lutz, Florida, in reference to a shooting. A 20 by 12 shed behind the home had been converted to a recording studio and was being rented out by one of the occupants of the home. Inside of the studio, 2 men were found shot to death. During the investigation, detectives were able to identify a witness to the double shooting. He identified himself as a small-time music producer and owner of the studio. Earlier in the evening, he'd been communicating with an individual named Ace through Instagram who wanted to rent out studio time. The witness was able to provide an Instagram account named Clutch_25Ace as the person he'd been speaking with. He told detectives Ace showed up at the residence at about 10 p.m. and that he'd known Ace fairly well as he'd rented out the studio to him about 4 to 5 times in the past. When Ace arrived, he was with 2 other individuals that the witness did not know, but he let them all in the studio to begin recording. Ace was the only one that had been recording music as the other 2 stood and sat. By the time Ace was done, the witness emailed Ace a copy of the music that had been recorded, the witnesses back facing Ace and the 2 other men, one of which was sitting in a small desk chair as the other was standing near the corner. 2 gunshots deafened the studio. The witness spinning his chair around to see Ace standing over the 2 others he brought with a gun in his hand. Neither one of them could move. The one who'd been standing was slumped on the floor and the other slumped over in the chair. As the witness got up in fear for his life trying to exit the studio, Ace started to walk out before firing another round into the face of the man in the chair. He then told the witness they were gonna rob, before getting into his vehicle and fleeing the area. The witness immediately called 911 to report what had just happened, as he was now left with 2 dead men in his shed. He told detectives he never heard anyone mention robbing anyone or any argument that would cause Ace to fire. He also said he never saw anyone with a firearm or suspected Ace had one until Ace had already shot them. He then told detectives he would be able to identify the shooter if he saw a picture, as he would never forget his face, which he later did during a photo lineup. After the victims were identified and their families notified, a second witness contacted detectives with new information. Witness number 2 believed the killings were gang-related, saying 3 individuals who self-identified as Crip gang members had got into an argument with one of the victims a few weeks prior over money and a gun. The incident sparked a feud which had been ongoing between the Crip gang and the 2 other individuals, and witness number 2 identified Ace by his Instagram as being heavily involved. The day after the murder, the Hillsborough County Examiner's Office examined the bodies of both victims. The man who was standing in the corner of the shed had been shot once in the head, the bullet trajectory traveling from back to front. The barrel was less than 2 inches away from his skull, leaving powder burns near the entry wound. The man sitting in the chair, shot twice in his face, once by his lip, the second near the bridge of his nose from approximately 1 to 2 feet away. Detectives were able to identify the 23-year-old neighborhood Crip Billy Bennett Adams III as Ace. Ace lived in New Tampa, a neighborhood known for golf courses and shopping outlets. If you're from Tampa, you know damn well nobody considers this a real part of the city, and New Tampa is far from any hood, with the average household income coming in at over $80,000 a year. Ace was born in Virginia. Not sure how long he lived in Florida or where he grew up at, since the news gave him the title of a Tampa rapper. But Ace lived with his parents in a 5-bedroom, 3.5-bathroom home, estimated to be worth over $400,000, in the Live Oaks gated community that featured a multi-million-dollar clubhouse with basketball and tennis courts and a resort-style pool. Ace was employed as a sales associate at Finish Line at the Wiregrass Mall in Wesley Chapel, a suburban neighborhood outside of Tampa. Online records show this may even be his first arrest, and he has no prior criminal record in the state of Florida accessible online. So unless he has convictions as a juvenile, this gated community Crip rapper has never been in trouble in his life. And to be honest, regardless of who he was associated with, this case sounds no different than any white kids gangbanging in a nice neighborhood, living with their rich parents, working a day job, and driving to the hood on the weekends to pretend to be boys in the hood. The only difference is he's black. But portraying a lifestyle or choosing to take a route in life you didn't necessarily need to take comes with a price. And he now knows that as he sits in jail on 2 first-degree murder charges and an armed burglary. 2 punishable by death offenses and 1 punishable by life. And the only Crip rapper I've heard of from Tampa as being official and from the hood is Young Ty. And I got put up on who he was by my blood from Cross Fletcher. Shout out to the 8. But whether or not Ace was official West Side Rollin 60's, living the way he was, he could have avoided the situation he found himself in, and it may be a situation that he can't find his way out of. Now, like I said, I've only heard of 1 Crip rapper from Tampa. There may be more, I just didn't know about them. But Tampa is more of a city that's known for Bloods, Latin Kings in certain areas, and MPI, money, power, respect. Outside of that, you might find 1 GD, 1 Crip. It isn't a common thing. And when I was in Hillsborough County Jail, it was so blooded out and kinged out. When we played cards, the 6's used to get put face down. And, you know, for anyone that's watching this, that's pushing the 6, no offense, I'm just telling the story on what it is. One of the blocks I used to be on in Tampa had an old school Crip, and he was like a big homie, and he used to sell his weed and shit when we was in high school. The gun I got caught with, he tried to buy off of me the day before I got caught with it. Had I sold it to him, I probably would have never went to prison. But as far as Ace goes and his case, the main witness, who was the guy that owned the recording studio, said he didn't know about a gun. When he turned around, Ace had already shot them. In Ace's defense, Buddy could have been pulling a gun out on him and Ace grabbed it and popped both of them real quick. We don't know how it played out. The witness doesn't know how it played out. So he can try to go a self-defense route if that's the route that he's gonna take. But hearing his background after watching his music videos, seeing everybody in the video, the image that they project, and then finding out this kid lived in a fucking house worth over $400,000 in a gated community, a little soft ass, nice ass, rich ass neighborhood. Even if you're an official Crip, Plies moved to New Tampa. And people used to joke about that because Plies like, oh, I live in Tampa, and everyone knows he showed love to Tampa. But it's like, you don't really live in fucking Tampa, you live in New Tampa. You know what I'm saying? You're not really inside of the city like that. That's not the city, that's New Tampa. That shit's suburbed out, you know what I mean? And if you were living that type of gated community lifestyle and you had a job, even if you're a sales associate, so what? You're making a little bit of money just to have a check. Your parents are pretty much taking care of you if you're staying at their house. That was his listed address in his court records. That was where he was arrested at. And it makes sense because it's close to where he works. If you're living like that, you don't need to be portraying you're living a different type of lifestyle. How you were living is the goal for motherfuckers that ain't living like that. For the ones that's in the hood, actively gangbanging, shooting it out, getting into it, whatever. The goal is to get into that neighborhood. So you don't have to live that lifestyle. It does not make any fucking sense to move to a nicer area and drive over to a shittier area to hang out or play with fucking guns. It doesn't make any sense to me. But like I said, I don't know this kid's backstory. I don't know how official he is or how he got tied into it. But me personally, unless my life was being threatened, my life was in jeopardy, I would not go out of my way to solve an issue for a group. When there's younger motherfuckers that haven't proved themselves, that are eager to do so, that are more than willing to figure out that issue. And if he was in an argument over money and a gun, was the gun made of fucking diamonds or something? Like, how much money would it be worth for you to catch two bodies when you're already living a wealthy lifestyle? And all of these charges are alleged. Nothing is, proven until proven in court. Even though they don't treat you that way. You're guilty the second you're fucking accused. We're just gonna have to see how this case plays out. The new information that comes forward. Obviously, he's got two witnesses against him. I'm assuming the second witness is a member of the victim's family, since they were able to provide information on the gang relations, and we're just gonna have to see how it plays out. But for somebody that lived in a wealthy neighborhood with no criminal history, I guarantee you if he was white, a lot of people would view things differently. Oh, he's fake, he's this, he's that. But because he's black, and you see him in these videos with everybody else doing this, that, and the third, we in the hood. I never saw Crips like that in Tampa. I don't know where they're at. I know Lutz, where he was recording at, is the fucking country. That's where I committed my crime at. The armed burglary I did was on a house out in Lutz. It's a wealthy, more country spaced out area. But hey, it's 1090J. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
Rocks in the beat.